Happy Shohei Ohtani Day. Shohei Ohtani makes his Dodgers pitching debut tonight at Dodgers Stadium. We've got 10 big takeaways about the week that was. Also, the Dodgers are lurking for a former Cy Young winner as a possible trade. Lots to get into here on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade. We got it, Parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Ohtani starts the 50-50 clock. Monkey magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. See it, it's gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McCain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the show and the channel, hit the like button, join the Discord, join my other show, The Big Lead. We got a jam-packed show today, an electric show. Let's go. It's a Monday, so we got our big takeaways. But tonight is all about Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher. The unicorn is on the mound, getting the start. He's the opener for the Dodgers tonight. And, of course, every episode starts with the Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, how will Shohei Ohtani pitch for the Dodgers this year? Right now, 13% of you say Cy Young level, 31% say top 10 pitcher, 50% say good/average, and 6% say average to below average. So which one do you think most closely fits into? I mean, a little above average-ish to good, below average to bad, Cy Young level, top 10 level. I want all your Ohtani takes, and we're going to get into those in the 7th inning stretch. If you've got any super chats, we'll read those as well. But we got a jam-packed show today. Lots to get into, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is that Shohei Ohtani will be getting the start. It'll be the first time since August of 2023 that he will toe the slab as a pitcher in Major League Baseball. And tonight, the plan for Shohei is to go at least one inning, and we'll see how that goes. It feels like it's going to be a one inning. Let's just go out there and have him start, see how things go. And then after that, Ben Kasparias comes in and is the bulk guy. Then you get to that Dodgers pen. You figure things out that way. But it's going to be a big deal at Dodger Stadium. You see the Ohtani effect on display already. If you were going to today's game and yesterday you were looking at tickets, well, you saw the Ohtani effect on full display. Tickets have skyrocketed because Shohei Ohtani is making his pitching debut. Yesterday, before the announcement, the cheapest get-in ticket was $51. Now it's $134. The app TickPick has seen 3 times the amount of tickets sold, and it's going to be a big-time electric environment at Dodger Stadium. But what do you need to know is that, look, when it comes to expectations, it's going to take some time. He's not going to be going 6 or 7 innings right out of the gate. I do want to throw this out there. If Shohei Ohtani goes 1, 2, 3 and puts up a scoreless first inning, I'm doing a Shohei Ohtani on tomorrow's show. I owe you guys a shoey. And we're doing a shoey tomorrow. If let's just say Shohei goes scoreless. That's how easy we're going to make it. If Shohei goes scoreless in the first inning, we're getting a shoey. Sometimes, look, it's great. Love going to the games. Love covering this team on a professional level in the clubhouse and the media room and all that stuff. But sometimes these are the kind of days where, yeah, it's great to be able to talk to these guys and and get that access. But sometimes it kind of makes you, man, miss being a fan where I can go, if I was going to the game, I'd probably wear my decoy shirt that I got in Tokyo. Look at my decoy shirt, my all-over print decoy shirt. Or maybe I could wear my Shohei Ohtani Hollywood shirt with all the faces. I can wear my Shohei Ohtani jersey, but not today. Not today. I have to go and definitely do this the right way. And I think the things that we also need to talk about when it comes to Shohei Ohtani getting back on the mound is just the process of it all. Shohei was clearly hinting at this being a possibility the other night when he was asked if he could come back and pitch for the All-Star game and if he was ready. And Shohei said to Fabi Nardaya, "What do you think?" And hey, he basically said something like that. And he acknowledged that he was able to pitch. And Mark Pryor, he said a few days ago, quote, he was doing whatever he wanted with the baseball with every pitch he wanted to. And that was after his last live BP. And during that session, we saw the intensity ramp up. He was throwing 95, 97. You got 6 strikeouts and 15 swings and misses. He was using his full arsenal. They had situations, runners on second, runners on third, and using his pitch calm, his pitching out of the windup, using the slide step. There was every single thing you needed to see him do, he did, and now he's ready to come back. And what Dave Roberts said yesterday was that this process of him throwing these live BPs in these simulated innings and then cooling off, only to have to step into a game where, by the way, he's putting MVP numbers, hit 2 home runs over the weekend in the same game. To get back into that and adjust after throwing a live BP, it was starting to not make that much sense. To heat up, throw live simulated innings, cool down, then go play in a game. That it was actually more taxing for him to do that instead of, hey, let's have him pitch and hit in the same game. That means he ramps up, he pitches, he's still hot, and he's ready to hit after. So it makes more sense, and it takes a lesser toll on the body, and it's going to be a major box checked off tonight, because then we can really start the process. How does he feel tomorrow? How effective is he? What's the velocity at? What's the movement profile at when it comes to his secondary pitches? So tonight's the big one, just because it's been so long. It has been on the minds of baseball fans, Dodgers fans, the front office, the organization, his teammates for so long. Now we finally get to see it. Now we finally get to see what makes Shohei Ohtani the best player on the planet. And that's why when tonight he throws that first pitch and he's successful, I don't think there's a conversation between him and Aaron Judge who's the best player in baseball, because of that simple fact, because he can do just that. He can do things that no one else in the history of this game can do. And tonight, it's going to be all eyes on the Dodgers. And look, I think expectation-wise, it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time. It really is. I mean, who knows? This is Shohei, right? You don't expect him to fail at anything he does because he's so talented and he puts in the work. Let's not forget, it will be 664 days since he last pitched. So, got to keep that in mind tonight. And hopefully everything goes swimmingly. He pitches well. And either way, he's going to have something to build on, something to evaluate. And that's why I think this team is really itching to get through this process. Because the beauty of all of this is that he does not need to go 6 innings. And that's one thing I just want to point out there, is that if he can come back, he doesn't count against the 13-pitcher limit from a roster standpoint. So for him going 1 inning, 2 innings, 3 innings, anything that he can give the Dodgers and not have to put on that bullpen is going to be viewed as a bonus. This is the ABACABB cheat code, because it's like you're eliminating the first 2 levels of the game, right? You don't have to play those levels. You can go right to level 4, 5, 6, or 7 when you're trying to climb up the ladder, right? You don't have to face Dalzim and Blanca, right? You can go right to Chun-Li and Ryu or whatever video game you're playing, right? You can just climb up that ladder, and that's what he brings, because with that roster spot, and that's the ultimate cheat code, right? With that roster spot that he doesn't take away, you have that ability to do just that. And that is going to help this team tremendously, because you're still out a good amount of pitchers. You're still waiting on getting guys back. So it accomplishes 2 things, right? It allows him to rehab at the big league level, which he has the only option of doing because he can't go down and make a traditional minor league rehab start because he's a DH. So he can't do that. So you allow him to rehab at this level while also helping your bullpen limit those innings, because the Dodgers bullpen has thrown more innings than any team in baseball, right? They've been worked harder than a Panda Express employee during a Dodgers win streak. And that is going to be a breath of fresh air. So it's going to be great. I mean, I think tonight it's the night we've been waiting for a long time. Yesterday, he went in and he told Dave Roberts and the team and the pitching and coaching and training staff that, hey, he's ready to go. So it's go time. He's ready to make his debut on the mound. And from a roster standpoint, like I said, he does not count against the pitcher limit. You can have essentially 14 pitchers on this roster now, with Shohei being one of them, and you can still have a full complement of bullpen arms. And then when they get to a position where hopefully people get back and pitchers can stay healthy, you can go to a 6-man rotation and you still have a full bullpen intact. So look for Ben Kasparius tonight, and tomorrow you'll see Matt Sauer in what's going to be a bullpen game. And then Wednesday, you'll see Emmett Sheehan, and that will be a shorter start. So it is a week of pitching debuts. It's an exciting week. It's an electric day for Dodgers Nation. One day we've been looking for a long time. Like I said, I do feel like the N64 kid who gets the Nintendo 64 on Christmas Day. Nintendo 64! Yeah! Him and his sister opening up. That's how it feels, because this is what we've been waiting for a long, long time. Let me know down below in the comment section, what are your expectations for Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher? Do you think that there's some unfair expectations just because of what he's up against, and he's coming back off a second major arm surgery? Do you think that because he's Shohei Ohtani and he's just great at whatever he does, that he should be fine? But yeah, it is showtime at Dodger Stadium tonight. Let's read some comments here. CRSVZ, Shohei going to remind everyone why is the only one who should be paid $700 million. And that $700 million is 97% deferred. So he's really getting $463 million. But then again, he does make $100 million with the endorsements. Of course, you got to do the face lotion, the Decorte celebration. So yeah, absolutely. The Ohtani rule for Mr. Summer Obe. I should have got tickets from Gabriella Cohen. Jose Aguirre, scoreless first inning, and then a bomb off Cease. I'm speaking it into existence. Yeah, Jose, I love that point, because that's what just makes this thing feel just so foreign, right? I mean, the fact that a player like Shohei Ohtani could strike out the side, strike out Tatis Machado, and then go up and hit a home run. We just haven't seen that. It's been a long time since we've seen pitchers hit, and tonight we get to see that. And it's just going to be an incredible night at Dodger Stadium. Let's read some more, and then got a lot to cover today, guys. So we did a lot of Ohtani. We did an emergency show yesterday, and there's going to be a lot to unpack tonight. And tonight I will be at Dodger Stadium after the game, an emergency live show at Dodger Stadium. So be locked in for that. Might be a little bit after, because I'm going to go into the clubhouse. We'll see what Shohei has to say, but it's going to be a late one at Dodgers Stadium, so be on the lookout for that Dodgers Nation post-game show after the game. But coming up next, some not-so-good news about a pitcher that's on the IL, and then also the Dodgers are rumored to be lurking for this Cy Young winning pitcher. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and also head over to GearUp.la. GearUp.la, the best Dodgers merch in the game. You're going to find over to GearUp.la. And when you go to GearUp.la, it helps out the channel. And today we just dropped another t-shirt. Another phrase that we coined on this show and that we love to talk about is Yama Mania. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball this season, and I think Yama Mania is upon us. He's been carrying this team all year. And check out this awesome T-shirt. You got the kind of the big head design right there. Go to gearup.la to pick up the Yoshinobu Yamamoto Yamamania T-shirt today, as well as other ones. You got the Kike We Don't Give an F shirt, the Freddie Meet Gibby, all kinds of great merch over there. The Comet shirt, the Hesong Kim shirt. So go pick that up. But guys, it's Monday, and you know what that means. That's when we got our Dodgers Rewind. 10 big takeaways about your boys in blue.
Dodgers Rewind. 10 big takeaways.
So it's a really good week for the Dodgers. And my first big takeaway is this big, bad National League West that is supposed to dethrone the Dodgers from the division, the Padres and the Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Well, the Dodgers have been missing most of their rotation, 15 pitchers on the injured list. You've had injuries to a lot of key players on the position player side, yet the Dodgers are still standing atop the National League West. This week, they took 2 out of 3 from the Padres down in San Diego. Over the weekend, they took 2 of 3 from the Giants at Dodger Stadium. And right now, they're 43-29, 2 games up on the Giants in the division, 3 games up on the Padres. Tonight, the Dodgers take on San Diego in what's going to be a 4-game set. Lots of cool giveaways this series, by the way. The Dodgers are giving away a replica World Series trophy. It's probably going to be the closest the Padres get to a World Series trophy this season, so that should be special for them. Tonight, you have Blake Snell's bobblehead night. So I do think there's a little trolling going on. We should probably do a Tanner Scott one too. And tonight the Dodgers look to really put the division on notice that, hey, we're getting healthy and we're focusing in on getting our best players back in positions where they can shore up everything. Because right down the stretch, the Dodgers have the easiest schedule in Major League Baseball, and they're navigating their way. They're treading water through this 29-game stretch against above 500 teams. And I said last week, if they could just be a couple games ahead in first place after this 10-game stretch against the Padres, Giants, and the Padres again, that they'd be in a good spot. So this National League West, look, the Giants, we'll talk about Devers in a little bit, but I still think that the Dodgers are using this as a way to say once again that, hey, it's the Dodgers and the rest in the National League West. It's their division to lose. And tonight, hopefully, the Dodgers have another strong game with Shohei Ohtani, and this offense continues to hit. And you're going to feel really good about this team because, I mean, last week they averaged 5.3 runs per game. They allowed 5.8 runs per game. You want to get that runs per game allowed down, but runs per game from a scoring standpoint is kind of where we've seen them. Guys are trending up. Teoscar, Muncy, Tommy Edman, Andy Pages, so many offensive players are finding their stride, and the guys you expect to do well are doing well. Freddie Freeman didn't have his best week, but it's Freddie Freeman. Are you really going to worry about him? He did go 6 for 23 and hit 261 with the 675 OPS, but still, it's Freddie Freeman, and he is going to figure things out. Now, next big takeaway, and this isn't a positive one. It is about Roki Sasaki. Roki Sasaki has no timeline for a return. He's been able to play light catch for the last couple of weeks before this announcement, and that's where he was at the beginning of June. He wasn't experiencing real significant pain in his shoulder, but they put his throwing program on hold after he has received a cortisone shot, and the program has just been shut down altogether. And Dave Roberts said yesterday that there's no timeline for his return and that they have to almost operate on the assumption that, hey, maybe he doesn't come back. And I think that a lot of people took what Dave said a little to the extreme. I just think that what Dave was trying to say was that, yeah, you might have to look past that just because he's a rookie dealing with shoulder injury, and there's no guarantees that any pitcher comes back, especially when they're dealing with injuries. But Dave said to reporters yesterday about Roki Sasaki, being thrust in here into this environment certainly was a big undertaking for him. And then now you layer in the health part of it, and then you layer he's a starting pitcher, the buildup, what that entails, I think that's the prudent way to go about it. Whatever we get from him, I think, the mindset should be we got to plan on life without him. As far as this year, I think that's a fair way to think about it. I think the reason why Dave chose to be that blunt about that was simply because you want to just view Roki as found money, and anything he gives you is a bonus. You don't want to put the pressure on him as a rookie, considering you still have him under team control for 6 seasons, considering you're paying him less than $10 million. He's on a minor league contract. They paid him a little south of $7 million as a signing bonus. That he's not supposed to be the savior. That was never the plan. It was always the long-term play for Roki Sasaki. And yes, hasn't gotten off to a great start. I still think the flashes with that splitter have been extremely enticing considering how unique of a pitch that is. But he needs to get the velocity back. He needs to get the confidence back. And a few days ago, I asked Dave Roberts about Roki Sasaki and getting that confidence back. And here's what Dave had to say.
Is there anything new you're seeing with Roki Sasaki, and what are you hoping to see from him to take the next step?
I think that right now he's kind of just trying to keep his arm moving. I don't think that he's in a place where he feels that he can add the intensity.
And Pryor was mentioning something about his confidence. What do you think is kind of the biggest key to kind of getting that confidence back?
I think the number one thing is health. And once we get him back to health where he feels like he can, use his arsenal and be pain-free, then you start getting into believing in your stuff. Your stuff has, you have enough stuff to get hitters out consistently. So I think that once we get to the health part, we build him up, and I think he'll be in a good spot as far as on the confidence and really learning from, some of the things the experiences that he's had up to this point. I think it's just, I don't know if it's he's feeling something or he just doesn't have the confidence to kind of trust that he's in a good spot. So, any way you want to look at it, he's still kind of just moving his arm, but there isn't a whole lot of intensity right now.
So that doesn't sound to me like it's season ending. It doesn't sound like to me they're going to shut him down permanently. That could change if he doesn't bounce back and he doesn't get that confidence. Who knows what could that mean? But if it's shoulder, it's not Tommy John. And is it shoulder? We'll see. But it just has not been a good first year for Roki this season. 4.72 ERA. You look at the strikeouts, that's concerning. 24 strikeouts to 22 walks in 34 1/3 innings in his 8 starts as a Dodger. So I'm not giving up on Roki Sasaki. I know there are people out there that are saying that he's a bust and this and that. Remember this, they have him under team control for 6 seasons. So it's way too early to give up on Roki Sasaki, and I think it's still too early to even give up on him this season because in the blink of an eye, you can lose a lot of pitchers and your role jumps up. So I'm not giving up on Roki. I just think for them, what they need to do is get to the bottom of it and find out what the plan is long term. If there is any consideration for surgery, which he said a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago, that when he was asked by the Japanese media, I like to stick around and listen to what the Japanese media has to say to him because they ask him some pretty hardcore direct questions sometimes. And he was asked by the Japanese media if this was something that was going to require surgery, and he flat out said that it wasn't. So if this is something that he can work through and get back to 100%, then you have to figure that they're going to give him a shot to help this team if the entire rotation or the entire bullpen stays healthy, then maybe not. But I think that there is going to be a possible world where if he can get fully healthy and there's a role or a spot he could fill, that maybe they do just that. So don't give up on Roki. Not the Roki of the year, but still, man. Hey, don't give up on Roki. Okay, next big takeaway. Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So we're talking some Yama, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto has had some good starts lately. His start against the Cardinals was a good start. There's no doubt about that. He looked like the Cy Young guy. Didn't get any run support, but he went 6 innings, gave no runs, just 4 hits, had 9 strikeouts. But in the month of June, 3 starts, a 5.65 ERA in 14 1/3 innings, had the 4 earned runs he gave up against the Yankees, where he had 7 hits and 3 2/3. Against the Giants, 4 2/3, gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. Yes, the home home plate Adam Beck was clueless. I think he probably had an early dinner reservation at the Palm in downtown LA and wanted to get there, or who knows, who knows what happened with him. But it was terrible. He had Yoshinobu Yamamoto should have got some calls on the edges there, and that had to been frustrating for him. But the truth is, didn't get a ton of swing and miss, wasn't missing bats, wasn't the same dominant pitcher that we've seen through parts of this season. He ended up getting just 6 swings and misses. So 6 swings and misses, not a lot for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And the question I had was, are we starting to see the effects of Yoshi pitching on shorter rest? Because early on this season, when they had him on the college baseball schedule where you pitch once a week, the Japanese NPB schedule where you pitch once a week, he was outstanding. On 6 days or more rest this season, Yamamoto has a .9 ERA. On 5 days of rest, he has a 4.46 ERA. So is there something there? Well, ask Dave Roberts about that, and here's what Doc told me.
And just going back to Yamamoto, a .90 ERA on the 6 days and a 4.46 with the 5 days. He's about 4 starts away from tying last year and 12 innings from tying his innings pitched. Do you change how you kind of manage him at all, just kind of knowing that it's about October for him and just kind of how you think he's handled the workload?
I don't think so. I think that, he's our best pitcher right now. And, we're dropping guys in. We're having bullpen games, so he's got to take the baseball. We got to get to October. So I don't think there's any other way to kind of look at it. And I think we've done a very good job of trying to protect all of our pitchers, and especially Yoshi in the last couple of years. But the adjustment period is already passed, and he's got to take the baseball. There's no other way to look at it. That's a fair question. I know we did it last year, and I think last year, which is our only kind of case point, and he threw well, as I recall, after that. He'll be on an extra the next time, but I don't know that answer.
So he's going to be on extra the next time, but Dave made some good points. I mean, you can't pitch in October if you don't make it to October, and they definitely need him to pitch. But my concern is not necessarily just how effective he is when he does start. And, of course, you want to be at his best. You want him to go out there and give this team 6 or 7 innings of 2-run ball, shutout ball, things like that. But my concern is just the workload is really inching up there, and we're right in June, right? I mean, it's June 16th. We just hit mid-June, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto's already had 14 starts this season. Last year, he made 18 starts. He did miss almost 3 months of the season dealing with that rotator cuff injury, but he's also just around 12 innings away from matching his innings pitched in the regular season last year. So I just look at this team, and I look at Yamamoto, and I say to myself, wait a second, are they going to ask Yamamoto to make 25, 30 starts this year and go 150-plus innings? Is that what they're really going to do for their $325 million man, the guy that was pivotal, their ace in the postseason last year? Are they really going to ask that out of him? So my guess is that somehow, some way, if you do get Glasnow and Blake Snell back and this rotation starts to get healthier, Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May continues to pitch the way he's pitching, same with Clayton Kershaw, is that maybe he gets some time on the IL, just precautionary. The truth is that anytime you're throwing 95, 96, 97, you're probably not going to be at 100%, so you could justify it. So I think they need to be very cautious about how they manage Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The last thing I want to see is them burn him into the ground in the regular season when the whole point is to have him pitch in the postseason at a high level. So I definitely don't like that. The days rest, the ERA, kind of the downward slide, a little bit of effectiveness. It's starting to make me wonder if you need to just kind of take a step back and think big picture with him. I know he wants to go out there. He made it clear that he wanted to pursue the Cy Young and that he was even more interested in winning a Cy Young because no Japanese pitcher has ever done that. But you got to think big picture here. And if he's not looking as crispy as he has throughout the season, he does look like he's a little bit taxed, a little bit fatigued. I'm going to ask him after his next start, hey, just how you manage the workload. How do you feel this year compared to last year around this time? Because that's when you went down. Interested to see what he has to say. Knowing him, he's just going to say he feels fine. But the good news is not like the velocity has been trending down or anything like that. The command hasn't been as great, but the velocity hasn't been trending down. But what are your thoughts on Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Because I know, look, I mean, BC, you're right. Yamamoto averaged 190 innings in Japan, right? What were they saying about Corbin Burns? They were saying the same thing, right? That's what they were saying about Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns never gets injured. How many innings did Corbin Burns average every year with the Brewers? How many? He's someone that you can count on. The truth is, they're healthy until they're not, right? I mean, Corbin Burns, 2022, 202 pitches, 202 innings for Burns in 2022. 2023, 193 and 2/3. 2024, 194 and 1/3. 2025, 64 and 1/3. He's out with Tommy John surgery. So I think that to use his history or anyone's history for how many innings they pitch as a reason why they won't, I think it's the opposite. For me, when I hear that a starting pitcher has been durable and has thrown a ton of innings, I just mean, oh, they're due for an injury. That's how I look at it. I mean, I think that is kind of how it bears out for sure. Nando 390, I hate this comment. I love you, but I hate the comment. Roki's the Japanese version of Bobby Miller. Come on now. Let's not go there, okay, on both sides. It's too early to act like Roki is a bust. I definitely think that's the case. Ohtani the mound before Tyler Glasnow from Madrid, Carol_S. The day we have all been waiting for. Hallelujah. Mr. Summers, 6-man rotations are the wave of the future. Roy Estrada says, Nando, ouch. Dang, Nando, that's hard. Nando, everyone's like, gosh, man. Hey, but hey, do you? The thing I tell all you guys on this show, you can disagree with me all you want. All I care is that you watch the show or you listen on the podcast and that you give your opinion. I want your opinion because this is a show where I put your comments on the show because I want the world to see the pulse of Dodgers Nation. What are Dodgers fans thinking? What are they saying? The good, the bad, the ugly. So I definitely want you guys to keep doing you. We got Ohtani before Glass later. I mean, look at BC. Look at BC. Come on now, BC. You guys are going hard today. David Pick, what is up? Keith Potter, D-Mac, I sold my Bobby Miller stock. That's fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. I'm not saying you should do that. You give 10 runs. I'm going to talk Bobby Miller a little later for a very specific reason, so you don't want to miss that. So, Roy Estrada, D-Mac, who follows Ohtani today. Ben Kasparius is the guy that was supposed to make the start today, and Matt Sauer is most likely going to factor in tomorrow, so we'll see. Do they flip that? Probably not. He's on 5 days rest, but we'll see. Those are the options. But let's keep moving, guys. Keep moving. A jam-packed show today. Happy Ohtani Day. More big takeaways. Next one, a quick one. Clayton Kershaw, speaking of selling stock. Clayton Kershaw, in his last 5 starts, a 1.9 ERA. He had a great start over the weekend, 7 scoreless. He is the first Dodger to pitch and complete 7 innings since Yamamoto did it this season. He's only 2 Dodgers that have finished 7 innings. It's Yamamoto and Clayton Kershaw. If I told you that back in spring training, that we'd be in June and you would have to guess which 2 Dodger starters finished 7 innings, you'd probably say Yamamoto. That'd be a fair guess. But you'd probably say Glasnow, Snell, May, Gonsolin. Who knows? But Clayton Kershaw might not have been one of your top guesses. But, hey, death taxes and Clayton Kershaw finding a way to have an impact on this team. It was his longest start since 2023. He lowered his ERA to just over 2 against the Giants. And most importantly, he's helping this team and going deeper into games. I mean, say what about Kersh and what this could mean for the postseason. We have a long way to get there. But he's helping this team at a time when they need it the most. They need starting pitching right now, and he's providing length, and he's getting better with each and every start. And I think that the one thing you want to look for with Clayton Kershaw, outside of just counting his strikeouts, he needs 12 punch-outs to become the 20th player ever to throw 3,000 strikeouts, and he'll be just the 5th to do it with one team. Other than the strikeouts, look for the effectiveness of that slider. After the game, he talked about how he didn't think his slider was working very well for him. It hasn't been as effective as it's been. His curveball has been his best pitch. The curveball has been great for him. You saw him use that to lefties, to righties, struck out Jung-Hoo Lee with one that was in the zone, a lefty-lefty matchup. You saw him get some chase out of the zone, working in the zone. And when he's having fastball command, that curveball is a really good pitch for him because it's 72 miles per hour, the fastball at 89 doesn't hurt you as much, right? The slider, it's closer to the fastball velocity, so he doesn't have it. It doesn't have as much success, right? So when you throw 90 and you drop it down to 78, then you're having the benefits of that. But when it's a slider that he doesn't have as great of a feel for that right now, and the bite isn't where it's been, he's not locating it the same, well, it's not going to have that much success. So if he can find the slider, which I think he can because he's done that, it's not a pitch that requires high velocity, I think he could be even better because that's the number one thing for him moving forward you need to look out for is can he throw that slider? Because I've said it before, he's a happily married man, Clayton Kershaw, but he's got a slide piece and he needs to use it. And he needs to get the feel for it because so far since he's been back, opponents are hitting 302 on his slider and they're hitting 200 on his curveball. In 2023, a couple years ago, opponents were hitting 167 against his slider. So if you can get it down to the 200 range and have fastball command, use the occasional splitter when opponents are on the slider a little bit to righties, kind of switching that up a little bit. He's got a mix that can go out there and still get outs at this age. So I give him a lot of credit. It's great to see him having success. By the way, he's got the fifth kid on the way. He said that he's got the fifth kid on the way. He announced that during Edward Kershaw, fifth kid on the way, another daughter. Love to hear that. Okay, let's keep running through these takeaways, guys. Andy Pages deserves to be an all-star. At least it deserves to be considered an all-star. I asked Dave last week if he thought that Andy was playing at all-star level. He said yes, and we saw that yesterday on display, hitting that big 3-run home run to put the Dodgers on top. He already has 13 home runs this season. That matches his total from last year, and this is someone that everyone wanted to ship off to the KBO, that you wanted to trade him for a bag of baseballs and a half-eaten bag of Funyuns, and he's turned his season around. He looks like he is going to be a factor, not just this year, but moving forward. He looks like he is going to be one of the Dodgers' corner outfielders for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Who knows? He's just 24 years old, and he's playing above-average defense, leads the league in defensive run saves by an outfielder. He's hitting 281 with a 123 weighted runs created plus, and he has 13 home runs in 275 plate appearances. Last year, he had 13 home runs in 443 plate appearances. So he's gone from slugging 407 to 480. He's been clutch. He's played great defense, and I thought it was cool, too. A special moment yesterday after the game on Father's Day, he talked about how he hit that home run for his dad. He said after the game, it was a great series win. Good team over there. Great to come through in that moment. But it was a home run I hit for my dad, who I haven't seen in a long time. Hopefully I can talk to him and tell him I dedicated that home run to him. So his father back in Cuba. Hey, how could you not be romantic about baseball? Just a great moment right there. Keep up the great work, Andy Pages. Okay, another big takeaway. Tanner Scott is beating the allegations. He's not a secret double agent. He's not here from the Padres to infiltrate the Dodgers and just ruin them from within. No, he had some mechanical issues, and he's dealt with them. I talked to him after the game last week against the Mets, and he told me that, I won't tell you exactly what he said, but he said that his mechanics were, let's just say, not good. And he was strongly against how his mechanics looked for the first couple months of the season, and it took him and the coaching staff to look at it on video to identify them. And what he told me was that instead of fixing those mechanics, he was trying to pitch through it, and that he regrets doing that, right? And now he's not flying open. You're seeing more direct to the plate. And yesterday he struck out the side for the first time as a Dodger. I know it's been a while. It's crazy to think it's gone that long, but he struck out the side for the first time as a Dodger. And in June, so far, he's gone 7 innings. He's had 10 strikeouts. He's given a 1 run. He has 2 saves. So Tanner Scott, he's on the way up. His stuff is playing, the velocity's up, the location is there, and that's my GD closer right there. Tanner Scott. He isn't Tanner Kimbrell. He's not Craig Crumble. Don't ever do that. It's not the California Adventure Lane. Tanner Scott has found something, and I think he's going to be a major player for this team in October. Okay, next big takeaway, and this is one I know you want to talk about, want to listen for, is the Dodgers, according to friend of the show, USA Today's MLB insider Bob Nightingale. Bob Nightingale said the Dodgers are, quote, lurking when it comes to Sandy Alcantara. And before you say, wait a second, Sandy Alcantara, didn't he have an 8.47 ERA in his last 11 starts? Yeah, he didn't get off to a good start, but his last couple of starts, he's pitched a lot better. He's got 12 innings, had 10 strikeouts, 1.5 ERA. Yes, it was against the Rockies and the Pirates, but if you look at the advanced stuff early on the season, the velocity was still there, still throwing 97 plus, but the location wasn't. In recent starts, the location has started to come back, and that makes him a very viable option for any team that's looking to add starting pitching. And there's a couple reasons why you'd want Sandy Alcantara if you're the Dodgers. One, you feel great about your pitching development, and from a velocity standpoint, he still has it. They couldn't fix Noah Syndergaard because they couldn't make him throw 99 again. There's nothing you can do about velocity when it's dipped that much. Sandy still has the velocity after the Tommy John surgery. It just refined the mechanics, gained the location back where it was. And then two, look, there's no guarantee that Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, and all these guys are going to come in back and stay healthy. You can never have enough starting pitching. And if you are truly all in on 2025, Sandy Alcantara is a contract that is very favorable. And if his stock is lower than it's been, that's what Andrew Friedman loves. He wants to buy when the stock is lower. That is what he wants to do. He doesn't want to. It'd be worse for the Dodgers if Sandy Alcantara had a 1.2 ERA and looked like a Cy Young again. The fact that he did struggle early on is good. It's a good bargaining chip. It's, yeah, he's pitched well for the last couple of starts, but for the most part, he hasn't looked good. That's what the Dodgers are going to say. And they got the prospects to get a deal done. So mentioned Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller, I think, needs a change of scenery. I think Miami would be a decent landing spot for him. So could you give up Bobby Miller, James Outman, some prospects for him? The Dodgers have a top 6 farm system. If they wanted Sandy Alcantara, they could put together a deal to get him. And then on top of that, there's the contract. He's currently in the third year of a 5-year, $56 million deal. He's signed through the 2026 season, has a club option for 2027. The Dodgers would be on the hook for around $46.5 million for the next 3 years if they exercise his club option. That compared to, you just gave Snell 182, Glasnow 136.5, Yama 325. You had a Cy Young winner in Alcantara 46.5. That is using the coupon code right there. That is going to feel like a bargain compared to those guys. And then also, you're just not committed for too many years after that. They've shown a willingness to be able to go short-term on guys. So, hey, my fear is, we saw the Devers trade. The thing of it is, yes, the Dodgers don't want to have to buy in July. Brandon Gomes and Andrew Friedman have made that very clear multiple times in the offseason, even early on this year. But if you have a chance to get a frontline starting pitcher and you don't have full confidence in your guys getting to 100%, staying at 100%, then I think you consider it. And I think what it comes down to is how much do they trust Glasnow, Snell, Roki, Shohei, Yamamoto, all these guys. And that's going to be difficult for them because they saw what happened last year. They've seen what's happened throughout. Look what happened in 2021. I think the Dodgers, if Max Scherzer is healthy and Walker Buehler's healthy and Julio Urias isn't out of gas, I think the Dodgers win the World Series in 2021, but they ran out of starting pitching. And that's even after trading for a Max Scherzer whose arm passed away and he made a business decision in the NLCS. So if you're asking me, I'm always looking to add starting pitching. So Sandy Alcantara is another guy that's really interesting. And we're going to talk more about that and do a little more deeper dive a little later in the week. But putting on your radar right there, Dodgers lurking for Sandy Alcantra. I mean, hey, how well have Dodgers pitchers named Sandy? I mean, just the fact that he would be a Dodgers pitcher named Sandy, I think that would be a great sign. I think that to me would sweeten up the deal right there. So I love the fact that they're lurking, and I still think that this team, that once they made that deal with Shohei Ohtani, it was, hey, if we need something, we're going to get something. And if they're asking themselves, are we all the way in? Well, let's see what happens in the next couple of weeks. So I think it's good to get Shohei back. I think when you see Glass now back, all these guys back, so we can give them a full evaluation to see if they need to go out there and make a move at the deadline. So another big takeaway, I want to give Justin Robleski some love. I caught up with him after the game on Friday. He's looked a lot better. The stuff is playing, and he's another guy that, hey, if you're going to play this game, that's a big early takeaway from this season as far as Ben Kasparius, Jack Dreyer, young Dodgers pitchers stepping up and having a role for this team. And Justin Robleski talked about kind of the difference in his last couple appearances and how he's been able to turn the corner in his career a little bit.
And with the injuries, there's an opportunity here. I mean, which is kind of the biggest key for you to be successful at this level, and how much are you just motivated taking advantage of this?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just trusting myself, just going out there and trusting that my stuff's good enough to get anybody in the world out. And then just going from there, like I said, just attack, get ahead of the count, mix, and do my thing. I think the biggest thing for me these past couple is just kind of talking to guys like Kersh and Snell and even Yama, just like, and guys in the bullpen, just kind of about mindset and, where I know I need to be and kind of how I treat these extended outings. And there's been a lot of, helpful stuff that has come from a lot of those guys. So it's been really good.
Doc said this bullpen's in a good spot tomorrow. You'll be able to eat those innings. How much pride are you taking just going in there, playing your role, and being able to do that?
Yeah, it's huge, especially, coming in with Yama's runners on base and being able to get out of that for him. I know in the long run that makes a big difference. So I felt good about that. And then, of course, next job is to save the pen. And I think, I take pride in every time I'm out there trying to do that. So regardless of if it's as a starter or an extended reliever, I think that's a big asset you can have. So I think anytime you can do that, it's huge.
You've seen guys like Ben and Jack come up and have success. I mean, what do you think about that? And just kind of, does that give you some confidence, kind of guys you've been around?
Yeah, it's awesome to see those guys that are two of my buddies that I've come up with, and kind of throughout this whole journey, it's been really cool to kind of see them do their thing up here. And it definitely, gives you confidence, and you can do the same thing. So it's cool.
Awesome.
So buy stock in Justin Robleski. Robo can pump it up to 100, a 3.14 ERA, last 14 plus. I mean, he's someone that I think you can turn to in spots. A couple quick ones here. Teoscar Hernandez, got to give him credit for the week that he had. Did go 5 for 21. You look at that number, you're like, but a 987 OPS, and he's homered in 3 games before yesterday. So the power's back. You're seeing him punish mistakes. He's pulling balls in the inner half. If they're on the outer half, you see him square him up, go into center field, go opposite field. So Teoscar Hernandez looks like he's starting to find a rhythm again, and he was going through a really long slump. He had 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position at one point. Not looking good in his first 20 games back after the groin, but it's very encouraging to see Teoscar Hernandez back looking like Teoscar Hernandez again. It was too much of him throwing out the sunflower seeds and not enough of him getting the sunflower seeds thrown at him. Now he's the other way around, and I love seeing him get those sunflower seed showers. And Dalton Rushing, another big takeaway is Dalton Rushing, I almost believe he needs more at-bats at this point. He got 6 at-bats last week. He went 1 for 6 with a single, and the takeaway for him is, did they rush Dalton Rushing? I don't think necessarily that's the case. I think that he can find his role, but I'm definitely going to be monitoring him more closely for the next couple of weeks. He has had 42 plate appearances since coming up and has struck out 22 times. That's a 52.4% strikeout rate. So you want to see him limit those strikeouts and hit the ball hard. And I don't necessarily think it's because, Dalton Rushing isn't ready. I just think that it's got to be difficult for a guy to get just 6 at-bats. That's got to be pretty difficult for him to go from being the head honcho, big fish down in AAA because you're getting the opportunities, and then here it's not the case. And you have to remember, too, that over half the league would have him as their starting catcher. So it's got to be tough for Rushing, and I think it's interesting thing to follow is what does this mean for his development? Now, last takeaway is, will San Francisco be a giant pain in the ass for the Dodgers? It's possible. I mean, they look like a good team. They have a really good bullpen. Their starters don't give up home runs, and they traded for Rafael Devers. So give him credit. Give the Giants a credit for not being afraid to go against the Dodgers. I mean, Rafael Devers, the top 10 to 15 hitter in this league. You gave up some money. You committed $250 million, and I think if you're the Red Sox, who knows what they're going to do with that money. If you're the Giants, we'll see what version of him you get. It's not a hitter's park there, but they've added Matt Chapman, you've added Willie Adames, and you now have Rafael Devers. And I'm just wondering, why didn't the Red Sox tweet good luck on all of your future endeavors when he was traded? I'm just saying, okay, I'll give myself a bruh for that one. All right, guys, so now it's time for you to shine on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, let's go. We got Wingmaker D-Mac. He needs to be back some good months. His April was great. May bad. June good so far. Obviously, yep, absolutely. We got D-Mac's face is red. Yeah, I was out in the sun a couple times this week. Went to a lot of games. I need to put what I do is I like to mix SPF 100 and an SPF 100, then I get SPF 200. That's how that works, right? Tortoise Scott is cooking from Jose Aguirre, Mr. Classic Sandy, Toad, Bobby for Alcantra. Well, first of all, Toad, he'd be just a minor piece in that deal. You would need some top prospects for sure. But Bobby Miller, there are teams that have shown interest in him, and I can tell you that. But Sandy, change of scenery will help. Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Classic. I mean, he's pitching in front of Marlins fans that come painted as seats. I mean, just imagine what 97 looks like at Dodger Stadium in front of 50,000. So that's a great point. We've got Sandy, like Walker, is ramping it up. That's from Craig Osterberg. Ray, he's definitely not damaged goods. He's always pitched the most complete games. Y'all tripping. Yeah, he's a ground ball pitcher, right? He's not a guy that relies on high strikeouts to be great. He just has given up too many fly balls this year, and you haven't had that sinker as effective for sure. We've got BC. Who you got tonight? OKC or the Pacers? I think OKC takes that one. I mean, I think the Pacers had their chance. Hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for a 7-game series. We've got Bilal K. I like Max Fried when the Dodgers chose Snell. Okay, that's the past. Now I like Chris Sale over Alcantara. Yeah, if you can get Chris Sale over Alcantara, you do that. There's no doubt about that. But we'll see what the market looks like when it gets down to it. But, I mean, that would be a big market if you can get Sandy and Chris Sale moved at the deadline. We've got Scherzer had a dead arm after pitching one extra inning. Alex Renteria. Yeah, it was a business decision. Don Kim, Dodgers front office always hanging around the background for an opportunistic opportunity. Great point, Don Kim. That's what they do, man. They're always lurking. They're waiting. Who can they get? Who's going to fall into their lap? That's how they do business because they don't want to overpay. Sometimes you have to, but if you can stay strong and be in a good position, then, yeah, it's definitely where it's at. But okay, maybe it wasn't just that the arms ran out of gas, D-Mac. What about managing from Dave Roberts? Yeah, it wasn't the best series for Dave against that Braves team in 2021. Mr. Summer, watch 2. We got, did Sandy just recover from Tommy John surgery? Yeah, I mean, that's status quo in Major League Baseball. Paul Schemes from Ramgrave 50, who it's showtime today from Hemi Turner. Would Alcantara play like Koufax? I don't think anyone's going to play like Koufax again. No way. We've got NS. Wow, the audio transition of that clip was surprising. Which one? Let me know. Jeremy Buckley. D-Mac, are we in sync now? All we keep singing to our IL pitchers is, I want you back. Oh, wow, it's the NSYNC. Are you a BSB or NSYNC dude? DeGrom still has the stuff in Texas is terrible from Johnny Owen. Yeah, he is. There could be some pitchers. I mean, DeGrom's another guy a little more on the contract for sure. Claudia Teo's looking better. He is. Darren Shepard, lots of talk around the Dodgers and Sandy. Bilal K. Robleski absolutely looked great, but again, Dave Roberts does not bring him out. Man, you do not like Dave Roberts, Bilal K. Gary A. Not to nitpick, it would be nice to see highlights or pen sessions. Yeah, I mean, obviously, that's always great. You got to pay the piper, though. We got Alex Renteria also. I mean, MLB owns that stuff. Delirium. Robleski did great in long relief last time, relieving Yamamoto. He strikes out almost as much as Outman. Steve Toe. But how come Kim is making use of the opportunities and not rushing? Seems we rushed rushing. Yeah, I mean, Kim went 2 for 10 this past week, but he got that single that put him ahead that gave him another run on Saturday. And you're absolutely right. I mean, he definitely is taking advantage of his opportunities. And I think he's got more of a bat-to-ball type of swing that kind of makes it easier to perform when you do get those chances. But you got to give him credit. And I think rushing's also playing a position where you're a catcher, which is definitely mentally taxing. D-Mac is so geeked on tonight's start. Absolutely, Senior Jefe. Art Joe, go. Love you, D-Mac. Love this Dodgers channel. Appreciate that. $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Mr. Summer Ope, D-Mac, have you seen Show pitch live, and what did you think? Yeah, I saw Shohei pitch a couple years ago in Anaheim. I saw that 12 strikeout game, and it's an event, and he's electric, and he can overpower you with the fastball, but he likes to keep you off balance, too, with the secondary stuff. It's the sweeper that really kind of was his en vogue pitch a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean, he's just great. I mean, when he's on, he's a guy that can go out and dominate. And that's the kind of stuff that he has. Is not just good stuff, but like true dominant stuff. So a couple more here. Rushing is going to be the future. I hope the Dodgers don't fumble him. From Keith Potter. Dodgers, these Showtime fans, wait for trash Angels fans crying about Ohtani pitching. Okay, drop your predictions for Shohei tonight. How many strikeouts does he end up with? How many runs does he give up? Let me know down below. But we're running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
So the Dodgers, they took 2 out of 3 from the Giants, and MLB put out a comparison between the Dodgers and the Giants and how close these two franchises are. The Dodgers have 8 World Series titles. The Giants have 8. The LA Dodgers have way more than the San Francisco Giants, though. I want to point that out. The Dodgers, 22 pennants. The Giants have 20. The Dodgers have 38 postseason appearances. The Giants have 27. Head-to-head in the postseason, the Dodgers lead 3-2. The Dodgers won there in 2021. And then the head-to-head all-time regular season record, the Giants lead 1,285 to 1,280 and 19 ties. So just want to put that out there. Can we take care of business against the Giants all year this year? I'm down for a couple sweeps. I'm down for a dominating year against the Giants. I want SF to stand for a season finished. I want Oracle Park to look like a superstore, a Halloween superstore. I want to see that. And I want to overtake the Giants in the regular season record this year. I want to see that. And I also want to go on top of them from World Series. I hate that they have that on the Dodgers. I know it's petty. I know it's meaningless to most, but I want to go and definitely get on top of that this season. So let's do that. Let's take care of business. And then tonight, if you're at the stadium, look for me to be walking around by the pavilions. If you guys want to be on the show, we'll do some stuff. We'll interview you guys. So find me down by the left and right field pavilions. You know, I'm a man of the fan, baby. I'll come holler at you. But tonight, Shohei Ohtani. So excited. Dodger Stadium. First start in his Dodgers career. It's going to be absolutely electric. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the channel, hit the like button on your way out. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings together quite like Dodger baseball. My name is Doug McCain. Follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.